Hello everyone, welcome to the Chinese Grand Prix. So it is of course then career mode for McLaren Honda driving as Jensen Button. And this could be a long race. That very long back straight with my Honda engine could be interesting. Had a so-so quali again. It did actually get wet, so I only had a chance to put in 1 or 2 laps. There was a glitch with the camera again there. I have actually discovered since that I was running a standard setup in both this race and the last race, which does explain my sudden loss of pace relative to Australia. But there's my teammate, P14, 2.6 seconds back. There's me up in P9, 2 seconds back from pole. So I'm about a second slower than what I was in the first race. I was about the same also in the last race, so that does explain a lot. But I can tell you that's all fixed again for race 4 and 5. I've already recorded those. I was quite excited to race them, so I went ahead and recorded them. But anyway, this is China. So starting P9, so not too bad, but not great either. And always seems to recommend the same sort of strategy, but once again, I'll probably go option prime, or option prime if I can. And so straight on the grid then. 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, second temperatures going to rich fuel as well. Lights out and we're away then. Going to go straight to rich. Lots of wheel spin on the line, so it wasn't a perfect start. We'll lose positions, but oh, been pitched straight into the pit wall then. And wow, not a strong start. Well, let's see what happened there. It was just Max Verstappen. Whoa, that was a violent crash as well. The force in was nothing to do with it. He was an innocent bystander, but let's try that again. 5 lights and we're away then. Bit of a better start, but slightly more bogged down, but that was a better start though for sure. Still wasn't perfect. I'm being a bit wary now in my mirrors. I can see a car flying down my inside there. And we'll try it on the outside then. Hulkenberg try and stay out of the dirty air. Well, I've already got past Hulkenberg. Let's have a go at Nasser as well. Looks like we're going to have a good go at him. Yes. Can we have a look at Ricardo as well? No, not quite close enough for that. The corner came up too quickly. But just avoiding all that dirty air on the outside there has helped me gain quite a few positions. I was down to about P10 really when I hit the brakes. So went back down to P9 then. So I'm going to try to look the inside of Nasser here. But no, he's going to defend that quite heavily and darting all over the track there. Almost hit Massa. And he's going to leave some room. I'll go straight up the inside. There's a strip the inside of 2 cars then. Oh, been pitched around again. Straight into the barrier, lost a wing. Well, let's have a look what happened. So that's that. Nasser been really aggressive defending. I should fly up the inside of the Red Bull there. And let's see what Nasser does. He just turns straight into me. Let's try that one more time from the top. Shall we? 5 lights and we're away then. So not as good a start that time for sure. Bogging down and wheel spin. Basically the worst of both worlds. And down to P11, quite comfortably P11. There's 2 Force Indias. Once again, know what we're going to do this time though. Going to fly around the outside, stay out of the dirty air. This is working better than last time. We're already past Nazareth. We might even be able to look at Ricardo this time. Can we do it? Yes, we're going to do this. A bit of a lock there, a bit of contact. Perhaps brake a little bit late, but looks like he's going to get the move done anyway. But there was a car on the outside of him, which I've managed to take. So up to P7 then. There's no car alongside me, luckily. So I expect we'll have a look at the inside of Ricardo. It's gone. Yes, we can brake very late, but we're going to be very close to Bottas. And we came extremely close to taking Bottas out there. Just like in the Hungarian Grand Prix in real life when Hulkenberg almost took him out. And, well, that meant we are not going to gain the position on Ricardo, but at least we didn't make any contact, and I wouldn't have restarted if I made contact there, because that would have been completely my fault. So, managed to avoid him just, but we'd have to delay our turn-in. Wasn't going that deep. I had to delay my turn-in to avoid the contact, but we're still up to P7, so not too bad. But as I said, I didn't actually know at this time that I was on a standard setup. I didn't know until the next race when I reloaded my setup in quali and found I was loads faster. And then figured I must have been on standard setup here. So just the middle default setup, which is 6.6 wings. So not very fun down this back straight, as we're about to find out. So we're going to go to Rich. I'm going to get some slipstream on the car ahead as well. There's only Felipe Nasr behind, so not the fastest of cars in a straight line. And look at that, Ricardo with the poor engine ahead is just pulling away. Massa and Nasr are going to have a look at me, I expect. I have to go right to the inside to defend from Massa. There's going to be 3 abreast. Breaking into the next corner. Brake pretty deep there though. Having to go all the way down to first gear. Managed to stop for going off the track. They're going to try and get good exit. Short shift there, trying to dull the rest, but still got plenty of wheels from the exit. And I managed to defend there, but they were miles back at the start of the straight. So if they're anywhere closer to me on the next straight, they're going to fly straight past. And in fact, Felipe Massa is going to have a go down this straight. I'm going to have to go to Rich then, but it doesn't enable till now. The settings don't enable till it actually clicks off them. And let's see if we can have a look around the outside of Massa. Nasr looked around outside, but we dispatched him nicely. And we've managed to make it stick so far, just like on the first lap. Squirt of power between the 2 corners. And push him out a little bit wide because we've got the inside line, and that's worked beautifully. So let's hope we can keep doing that. But like I said, they'll fly straight past me if they're that close to come the back straight, and they're side by side. And looking in the mirrors, absolutely side by side, just nailing the curb there. Bit of a weird one that one. You can't see the gravel, but you can hear the gravel. So as you go over it, there's apparently gravel on the inside. It makes the noise of it. But I don't think there actually is any gravel there. But it's just a bit of a weird one, bit of a glitch. But they're still side by side in the mirror. That's amazing. That's half a lap they've been side by side for now. And coming to corner, still side by side. And that's hopefully enabling me to pull away, but it's not really. I'm losing time hand over fist to Ricardo. Ricardo's not got the fastest car in the world. So, not great signs for me. Nailing the curb. Just trying to get used to the car. And, I seem to recall I had a wet practice. So, there's not been a fantastic amount of practice that's been put in here. So, hence it's been a bit more cutting and extending than I'd ideally like. But, running along back straight. Luckily, I managed to get a bit of a gap because of their battling. But now Massa at the head, and he'll be very, very fast in a straight line as that Williams is. Going to Rich just to make sure of it. And he's going to be right on me, I expect. Yes, he is. Come the apex, he's all over me. So he was miles back, probably a good second back. So I'm losing at least a second on that back straight. Just when I can't do anything, just got to set my foot down. That's all I can do. Going to go to Rich very early this time. Nailing the ball out of the inside there. And hoping to defend a little bit better. Now I can go to Rich early. I'm going to try and get the inside line once again, but Massa's going to... Well, he's already passed me, but this time I know I can outbrake him on the outside, so just committed to it this time because I knew what to expect. And that's working quite nicely. I'm a little bit further ahead than him, so I'd imagine I'll be able to keep the position relatively easy. Squirt throttle between the corners once again, and there it is, push him out wide. Beautifully done. Still in P7 for now, but look at that queue of cars. And in fact, in that queue, the yellow dot is my teammate, so that's not good. End of lap 3 then. Just skip to the end of that same lap, and Massa is now going to get DRS, but he's also a lot closer because he went battling, so I'm not even going to need DRS. Look at that. It's already flown past me without even DRS, but Nasra's also going to have a look at me. I'm going to stick to the slipstream of Massa and hope it works on the outside of Felipe Nasra here. And I managed to break quite late. Going to squeeze him on the apex, and we get away with that one. Luckily, he doesn't take us out, so we have lost that position. I wouldn't imagine we'd ever look back at Massa down this next straight because that Williams is so fast in a straight line, but we'll have a look. Going to get DRS as well. And it's not making any difference. I'm still a long way back from Felipe Massa, so there it is then. End of lap 4 now, so we skip to that end of that next lap, and looks like it's Nasra's turn to fly past me. Hopefully this Salvo might be able to get him back because he's relatively slow. And Hulkenberg's absolutely flying with his Mercedes engine as well. Look at that, he's just flown past me as if I was stood still. But he's going to give us the inside line, so we're going to dive up the inside of there. We'll have none of that. It looks like we are going to lose the position to Felipe Nasra, but at least we didn't lose 2. That's the second time then we've had to do that. We've had to give up 1 position, but then keep the next position. And there's still a massive queue of cars behind me. This has become a button train, so I got the feeling we're just going to plummet through this field. It's not looking good at all. And Hulkenberg's flying up my inside there. We're going to try and do it. Felipe Massa on him and go around his outside. Can we make it stick? He seems to have a bit better grip. Get it down to second, trying to just stop the throttle just to remain alongside him. I'm going to do the same thing, stab a throttle, a little bit of lean side locking, but we get away with it. And there we are. Nice to keep position then. P9 it is still, but only just inside the points with a big queue of cars ready to fly past me down the back straight. Once again, end of lap 9, end of that same lap. Sorry, end of lap 5, end of that same lap. And Hulkenberg probably going to be too far ahead again, isn't he? Perez, the other Force India, is going to have a go at me with his Mercedes engine. Carlos Sainz might even be close to me come the end of the straight as well. Trying to get some slipstream. Perez is going to keep a tight line, so what's going to go on the outside of him. Squeeze it on the apex once again, even tighter than it was last time. And lots also on the exit. We managed to stay ahead of him, luckily. So P10, we're just about holding on to some points, but I suspect next lap we'll have to say goodbye to those points, unfortunately. But we are going to stick with this lap, so we have got DRS now. But I'm not going to anywhere near Hulkenberg for the move. And, well, in the first race, as I said, I've not got a setup. In the first race, my tyre wear was better than theirs, wasn't it? The tyres are starting to get a bit worn, so I'm thinking, right, I should better stick with Force India. I should be fast in the Force India raw pace, let alone with worn tyres, but I've also since figured out that with the setup, as I said, I'm running a completely standard setup. So it does mean that I've got very poor straight line speed, but it also means that I've got core cornering speed. Because I don't know if I've shown you my setup, but I run 11.1, 11.1 suspension, which basically gives a good front end and supposedly sacrifices rear grip, but it just doesn't. So it gives a really nice front end. So even though you're taking out a load of front wing, you actually get better grip, I think. So you're not losing anything in the corners and just gaining massive amounts down the straights. I also run, I think it's 50, 100 or 150 on the diff, which just helps maybe a little bit with traction as well. Full left camber, full right till, that sort of stuff helps. It's mainly the suspension, that's the biggest difference, and obviously the wings for the straight line speed. But we have managed to stick with this Force India, so hopefully we'll get DRS. He's a little bit warm, having to get out of the throttle because we're running very wide all over the curb. Not ideal, but luckily Perez is a little way back, so looks like we might finally be able to stick with him. Having said that, now we're finally up in DRS, and he's just going to fly past us once again. Carlos Sainz is also going to have a good look at us, but I think we'll have the measure of him. We're going to try and outbrake Perez. They're braking very, very late. Get it all slowed down. And we did just manage to stay ahead there, but that was pretty tight. And now we've lost the gap to Hulkenberg, unfortunately. They're side by side once again. And looks like Hulkenberg pits. Hopefully they don't pit behind. They do, but luckily they avoid us. That was close. They could have taken us out there. Luckily he backed out of it last second. But there we go. The other point I was mentioning about setup as well is, once again, benefit of hindsight. I figured out that my tyre wear was also compromised because of the setup, because I'm not using a setup apparently, even though I'm using full left camber, full right toe, things like that. Oh, lots of oversteer onto the pit entry. But yeah, my setup actually conserves the tyres better, probably because that suspension setting helping a lot. So it doesn't make a lot of sense still though, but even so, I'll take it. There's a Ferrari there. I wonder if he double stacked, because I wouldn't expect to be so far behind. Anyway, we go for primes. Nice 2.3 second stop. No one told us up into the pit lane this time, which we direly need. So, plus 2 fuel still. Cold tyres for the minute, but it will spin on the exit there. So not only are they prime tyres, they're the harder tyres, but they're also cold, and there's a car behind us. That's Will Stevens. We shouldn't have an issue with him, surely. Having said that, how this race is going, it might not end well. And so we saw those cars pitting 1 lap before us then. It looks like they're all behind us, behind those Marussias. So they've been held up massively by the Mana Marussias there behind us. But we are down now in P13, so hopefully people pit at the end of this lap. Promotes us up to a few positions. Hopefully this isn't our actual position, because that won't be very pretty, will it? And so manages to finally start to get Will Stevens a little bit. Now the tyres are starting to warm up. See the front right there is absolutely baking hot as we go for that fast right-hander, and now the front left's turn to get incredibly hot, while the front right cools to the offloaded tyre, the inside tyre. And back again to the right-hand side. And since I've been doing setup since the next race in Bahrain, I'm also running full pressures, because the tyre temperatures don't seem to overheat really. I've not been to a hot track with that setting, but so far it just allows tyres to heat up a little bit faster, and they don't seem to overheat particularly, so that's the setup I've been running. But anyway, Will Stevens luckily is still ahead of the cars behind, so managing to create a bit of a gap, and all we can do is hope that our pace is slightly better on primes. I also hope there's some cars, well, there is cars pitting ahead. You see my teammate is one of them, in fact, so hopefully we'll be able to get ahead of them. Hopefully the tyres died on the end of their stint. And the key with this game is to you got to pit just as your tyres are dying, because you got to pit at the right time, because you lose. They do have a big cliff on them. You lose about a second or two on the lap your tyres die, but of course that's about the time you also lose with cold tyres. So if you can time it just right to pit just before that happens, you will gain massive amounts on the people who wait one lap longer. If their tyres are still healthy, maybe not. And there's it's actually Daniel Ricciardo there. We're going to try and fly around us outside. We know he's going to have cold tyres, and there we go. Move done. So we're up to P6. I actually managed to gain a position there somehow in all of that. And that's probably what I was just mentioning there about the tyres falling off the cliff, even though I did lose some time with my cold tyres. His tyres must just have been utterly dead. Look at that gap already to Daniel Ricciardo then. Just shows how slow they are with slow tyres, but it won't take him very long to catch up. And there we go, end of the next lap. He's going to fly straight past us, even the Renault engine I expect. A lot closer to our pace though, so we might be able to use the slipstream and go a bit of a dive at the inside of to the next corner. Are we going to have a go? Yes, we certainly are. Braking very late. Get it all stopped just about for the apex. Squeeze him out wide. And that's move done then. Well, not move done really, that's the move defended, I suppose. There's a Forcinder battling with him behind. That's also going to help me into this next straight. So not going to have any issues with Ricciardo, fortunately, down this straight. So on lap 11 at the moment, as we now skip ahead to the end of lap 11. So just the end of that last lap. And once again, we'll try the same thing as last time. Go to Rich. Dive into a slipstream as soon as it's available. Pick up some straight line speed, go to standard mix, brake very late, try and get us up his inside. Oh, bit of rear locking now to counter it into him there. But luckily managed to defend it. Oh no, he stood up our inside actually, stood up our inside, so luckily we don't get taken out there, but he's well along our inside, which is going to give him the inside line for this next corner, which is not good news for us. We'll need to try and get him into this next corner. We're going to get a DRS, fortunately. We're going to go to Rich as well, because it's vital we get ahead of him. He will pull away. But oh, there's a Forcinder alongside us. We're going to come into the inside there. It's going to be 3 wide coming to the first turn. And try and outbrake them all, which we managed to do. We're going to go deep though. Can we keep it on the track? Just about. And where are the rest of them? They're going alongside us. Oh, contact there with Red Bull. Big contact, and he's had a spin actually, but we've managed to stay ahead of the Forcinder, fortunately. And yes, that's nicely in position now, so still in P6. And well, let's go have a look then, see what happened with that Red Bull there. Ended up spinning. He hit us. I don't think that's my fault, but let's have a look. So we'll go right back to the DRS zone. And you'll see me getting straight in his dirty air. The Forcinder is gaining on us massively all this while. And I dive up his inside, and I didn't realise that he was along my inside till he hit me. And look at that, he just stayed. Oh, look at that, fair play. I squeezed him, but just left enough room, and I'm well impressed with that. I had to give him some room, but luckily I got a better line through this next corner. So it means I got a pretty decent exit, and I'll get DRS now as well. And that forcing his straight line speed. Look, he's already up me inside, but I had to force him over to make it 3 wide into the first turn. And let's see what happened then. So I managed to outbrake them all. And they come back up the inside, and oh, from there, it's hard to judge really. Hard to judge whose fault it was from there. Let's have a look from a higher angle. And, well, I mean, there was a big gap to Ricciardo's right. I'm blaming Ricciardo for that one. It was a bit marginal. And unfortunately, he did come out worse for wear, but can't do much about that. And yes, and Ricciardo did more or less straighten his wheel and come into me when he had some room on the right-hand side. So that was just about Ricciardo's fault, I think, but more of a racing incident. But we're now going to try and pull away from the Force India. So the Red Bull is very fast. The Force India is quite a lot slower. So I'm hoping we'll be able to push now and pull away. He's been on his laps a lap or two longer than me as well. So fingers crossed I can push now and just get enough of a gap. Oh, lots and lots of wheel spin there. We have to save it. Lots of counter lock, but what's the gap? Well, just about 6 tenths. So he's going to get DRS. Hopefully he's going to be a bit further back than the Red Bull was and not be able to get us. That's what we need. Trying to get a nice, relatively tight line, so we don't have to back out of it, and that's pretty good. I think I was full throttle all the way around there. Going to go to Rich, but he looks a little way back. So even with the Mercedes power and DRS, he's not going to get us. No chance at all. But he will be very close to us, so he might be able to get us down the pit straight. Perhaps we'll have to do a Massa on him. Go over the curb there. Braking right down. Second gear. I find the curbs really affect traction, but don't seem to affect braking or turning too much. So if you're trying to get on the power, stay off the curbs. But any other time, don't worry about them. And how close is the Force India? Not close enough. So let's push then. Let's try and pull away from this Force India. And that'd be sweet if we could do that. Lap 13. Then we skip ahead to the end of lap 16, coming to lap 17. We've not managed to pull away. Actually, that's Lewis Hamilton behind us. And looks like the Force India's already pit. And what's that ahead? That's a Ferrari ahead. So can we get the move done on him? He's going to have cold tyres. And yes, we can. He's just understeering there with cold tyres. And Lewis Hamilton has obviously already pit. That's why he was behind us. And so we can reckon. So we're out to P5. But of course, we've got a pit stop to make. And I expect they'll be all over us sooner rather than later anyway, regardless of our pit stop. So lap 17. End of lap 17. And sure enough, they're already with us. Tyres warmed up now. So they will be considerably faster than us. And looks like Kim Raikkonen's managed to bridge the gap actually though to Lewis Hamilton. So what's going on with Lewis Hamilton now? I don't know why he's behind me really. And the Ferrari's pretty close. So Lewis Hamilton comes into the pit. So Lewis Hamilton hadn't yet pitted. So we might be able to stay ahead of him, you know, after we pit. Raikkonen's going to fly up inside, just let him on the inside line there. We'll try and get him on the outside like we've done with Massa, but not with the Ferrari. Too much grip. He had too much speed coming into this corner. There was no chance of that. So he is now going to fly away from us. And there's Felipe Massa behind us as well now. Once again, he's only just pit, so we'll come up behind him for sure. And look at everyone else's pit then. You see a few guys in the pit lane there. Bit of oversteer, lots of oversteer. So lap 18 of 28. So we've done about 10 laps on these tyres. So we are now able to pit. And I think we've done 11 laps on these tyres even. So we are going to pit now for a brand new set of the prime tyres, because the softs did not last very long and my pace seemed to be relatively worse. I managed to pull away from the pack I was fighting when I was on the options. So a bit of a strange one. And oh, lots of wheel spin once again. It's just once again for some reason they lag the wheel. I suspect it's so it looks more realistic when you turn into the pit lane. So when you turn into the box in a minute, obviously the car makes a very sharp turn. So I assume they've made the steering wheel delayed so it doesn't look so unrealistic, and that's just confirming it there. Nice 2.3 second stop once again. Releases Nico Hulkenberg is the next car in P6 at the moment. Hulkenberg's probably him coming down the pit lane, is it? It is indeed. So we're now down to P7. But I'm not sure what's going on with Hulkenberg. He seems to be out of sync with everyone else. He didn't pit on everyone else's lap, so he might yet have to pit again. So I'm not really too worried about him for now. It's Lewis Hamilton behind us, so it won't be very long before that Mercedes is all over us, particularly as we've got cold tyres for the first half a lap or so. And, well, he's going to pass us with ease, isn't he? No doubt about that. And so P7 of 19 at the moment. Hopefully we can get Hulkenberg, but Hamilton is going to pass us. So P7 could be our finishing result. And actually, considering the standard setup and considering the how this starts this race was looking, it certainly isn't impossible. And it's lap 20. This is the end of the next lap then. So we managed to keep Hamilton at bay for one lap, just about. He just caught us as he got to the DRS zone, but not quite enough. So I was able to keep him at bay for the entire rest of that lap. And we're now nice and close to Hulkenberg. We are going to get DRS, but Hamilton's also going to get it on us. And look at that straight line speed. He's passed us before we even got the DRS. That's mental. That is utterly, utterly insane. And I do believe I am on rich mixture as well. Actually, no, I'm probably not. He's just not getting too hot, so I'm probably more on standard. But even so, he still would have flown past me with ease there. Absolutely nothing I could have done. He didn't even need the DRS. I think even if I got DRS and he didn't, he still would have flown past me. As actually Hulkenberg does pit there, so confirmation. So all happens at the same time. I do get DRS and Hamilton, but there's no chance I'm able to keep with him. And P7 at the moment then. There's a nice gap behind to Daniel Ricciardo. We'll skip ahead now. Nothing happened in those laps in between. It was literally Hamilton building the gap ahead and me trying to maintain the gap to Ricciardo, which I've managed to do very, very well. It stayed almost exactly that for the entire stint. It was a bit more than that, then he closed it a bit, and then I've opened it a bit as the tyres wet. So so yes, it was not a lot happened actually at all. Just a case of me lapping around, so I decided to skip all that. And but it did feel good to be able to do that though. It took a lot of concentration. It took a lot of, I won't say it took a lot of skill, but it did take a lot out of me to just try and maintain that gap. It's 11.5 seconds now with Hamilton, because of course the Red Bull was very fast, and I did not have the pace here. So it was important for me to not start battling with him, because the car behind him could have caught us up. It was important for me to bridge the gap, and Nico Rosberg has already crossed the start-finish line to win the race. We're only halfway through the middle sector, so that shows how far behind we are. And so it was vital for me to have decent pace there. I was pushing very hard to try and stay ahead of the Red Bull. And as I said, it has worked quite nicely. Lots of locking there. And I actually started doing, at the end of this race, I started doing some experimenting with the engine. With the engine mode. So you can see the engine starting to get a bit hot there. I was experimenting between rich and standard. Now, it doesn't seem to make a massive straight line speed difference. That's why I'm now dodging out the slipstream of the Malaysian, because I'm still testing. I was testing whether it made much difference between the straight line speed, and well, with 6.6 wings at least, it didn't. Between rich and standard, I was like 1 or 2 miles an hour. It's barely anything, and I think that's mainly because the engine just gets that much hotter with the rich, and you lose the extra horsepower that you're supposed to gain. So I'm going to be mostly sticking on standard in the future, unless I can really afford it in terms of tyre wear, or I desperately need the extra mile an hour or two. But anyway, across the line now to take P7, which is not a bad result, but as I said, I was running a standard setup this race and the last race, so next race will be a lot more competitive, as we were in Melbourne. It should be a lot more fun to watch as well. And a dejected Jensen Button gets out of his car. Not a happy bunny, unsurprisingly. Wasn't what I wanted, but I still moved up a place from my starting position. I started P9, ended P7, so not too bad. And I was just over a minute back from the leaders then, so quite a bit of distance. Alonso doesn't manage to score points this race, unfortunately, but he did finish over 30 seconds back from me, so there's some consolation to be had there. My pace seemed to be considerably better on the primes, didn't it, than the options, which is a bit of a strange one, but anyway, like I said, probably something to do with the setup. It was all very weird, but oh, well, not yet, Crofty, not until next time yet. We're going to look at the standings yet, just flipping down there. And here we go, Jensen Button P6, managed to not lose any positions in the standings at least, but only 21 points now. Locke Rosberg's on 61, so quite a way behind him. I don't know if we're going to have any chance at championship, to be honest, but McLaren have moved down. Williams have jumped both us and Red Bull. Only 31 points then to McLaren's name, but hopefully we can improve that. As I said, set up from the next race, so hopefully we'll have a better race, and I can tell you it is more entertaining than this one. So thank you for watching. Bye-bye.